I might have been only 16 when I heard the worst advice ever. I was going in for a job interview. Of course, my first job interview, I was nervous. When I revealed my feelings to a certain family member, the one thing that they said was, just be yourself. Now, I don't know what happened with that job interview. I actually don't even know if I got the job or not. But this saying ran through my head. Just be yourself. Whether it's an interview, whether it's a speech, you've most definitely heard this before. You see it plastered on hallways in school. You see it on advertisements on television. How can advice that everyone says be such horseshit? Well, that's what we'll be going over in this video. Why just being yourself is the worst advice ever. Number one, it doesn't help you improve. We have to understand what just being yourself means. That means stagnation. Now, personally, I don't know about you, but I do enjoy myself. I love myself, right? But I don't want to be who I was 5 years ago. I don't want to be even who I was yesterday. Simply because I want forward progression within and without. Questions we have to ask ourselves when we even get this advice. Number one, what is yourself? What if yourself is, let's say, lazy? If you're lazy, should you just be yourself? Say if you have an opportunity and somebody says, oh, you don't know what to do? Well, just be yourself. Well, I'm a lazy individual, right? If I'm a lazy individual, should I just be myself? The second thing we have to focus on why this advice is so bad is just being yourself usually is not enough. A lot of times for the main things that we want to accomplish in life, what we need to do is skill acquisition. What we need to do is we need to pick up a book, we need to watch a video, we need to buy a course, we need to go to school, we need to do something that actually gives us certain skill set and knowledge to apply to the world. Say things like, well, I tried my best. I was just being myself. Yeah, you could say things like this, but if the results aren't the desired results, that means you were lacking in certain areas, which means being yourself or trying your best is simply not enough. Be your best self. Don't just be yourself. Don't just be the negative, because when you say just be yourself, you're including negative parts of your personality. What you need to do is you need to be your best self. Try to put front your best self. Now, just like just being yourself and being your best self, no matter what, it's hard to define what yourself actually means. But the cool thing about our mind is we have a certain mechanism that if we just ask ourselves, what should we be doing in this moment? It gives us the exact blueprint. So one thing you can do, instead of saying, oh, I'm just gonna be myself, I'm on a date, I'm just gonna be myself, I'm in an interview, I'm just gonna be myself, there's a speech, something, I'm just gonna be myself. No, cut that, erase that out of your subconscious mind. What you need to ask yourself is, what would my best self do? What would my best self do? If I was presenting my best self to somebody, how would they act? What would their mannerisms be? How would they talk? That is what you need to, that's the advice that you should do instead of just being yourself, right? Be your best self. And even if you're not in a certain place where you have to present yourself, you should always just keep that in your mind just to do it. What would my best self do? If you constantly ask yourself this question, this is actually how I started working out. This is actually how I started the YouTube channel. This is actually how I started a lot of things, is that I just constantly ask myself, what would my best self do? What would my best self do? What would my best self do? Of course, you're not always going to do Of course, you're not always going to do the activities that your best self would do. But if you just keep it in mind, if you just ask yourself this question kind of constantly, then eventually you will be aligned with that frequency of your best self. So just being yourself, it's not going to work. It's shit advice. And honestly, if anybody actually tells you to just be yourself, they're honestly just telling you, I don't know what advice to give. You're asking me this. I don't know. I don't know what to give. What I would say, man, be your best self. Ask yourself that question, and you will eventually align with the frequency that you desire. Much love to you. Don't forget to like, comment, and externalize greatness. I'm out.